All right, in the house, Jeremyeatworld. Let's go. Your friendly neighborhood lesbians. We're absolutely fair tonight. We have 1.5 black people. We have 1.5 white people. So we're ready. Trish, thank you for hanging out with us.
Perfectly balanced.
Yeah,
perfectly balanced. There we go.
We got everything we need for tonight's show. Super awesome. Dude, I remember. Oh no, babe, you wanted to start off with you started Sentinel today, right?
I did. I did my first CrossFit workout back in 2 years. So I haven't done CrossFit since we left our old CrossFit gym. As everybody knows, we're in a boxing gym. So I really have done a lot of boxing. And then I was following a specific like old school bodybuilding kind of strength program for a little while. And honestly, like meeting all of you guys and talking to all of you guys and just being kind of back in the CrossFit space, I've been really itching to get back into CrossFit. The sad part is that where we're located, we don't have the same community like we did when we first started way back when we both were doing it. But I've still been itching to like get back into training, get back into specifically CrossFit training. I've talked to Taylor a couple times when he's on the show, been like, I'm going to sign up. And I just haven't. And so today I just, bit the bullet and I signed up for it. And I did my first workout. It was a deadlift strength. And then I did jump ropes and burpees over the line. So my back was really blown out. It was awful. And those 15 burpee line jumps were torturous.
So the text I get is just, it's just ouch. Like that's the text that I got. So it was great.
Everybody, because like Jeremy funny. Commented on my post or like laughed at it, or was like psyched for it. I think Rosie did it too. Sentinel did it. Taylor actually reached out and was like, let's fucking go. Like, how'd it go and whatever. And I think every response, I think even to you, Jerm, I was like, ouch. It just
that was it. Just ouch. I mean, 2 days, like you take 2 days off sometimes and you go back into a CrossFit workout and in the middle of it, you're like, what is happening? Like I should be used to this. I honestly can't even imagine 2 years off. That's incredible. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you always done CrossFit? Like once you found it, you've always done it? Did you ever take a break from it? Anything like that?
No. I'd always been into working out, since like high school football and everything. And I was one of those just normal gym rat guys, like go and do my bis and tris and curls. And about 2011, 2012, a buddy of mine was like, hey, dude, check out this CrossFit stuff. I'm like, cross what? Who? What are you talking about? He shows me like, what was it? It was like probably like the Games, Froning, Khalipa, those guys.
Yeah.
And then even some of the girls. I'm like, wait, what? Like, he's like, dude, they do pull-ups and then you run and then you do muscle ups. And then I'm like, what is a muscle up? All this stuff. And so it's like around 2011, 2012. I have not looked back ever since then. I mean, there have been like injuries, having kids, stuff like that slows you down a little bit. But I mean, it's like the holy grail of fitness in my opinion. And it's like you come across something so unique. It's hard to like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to go back to, matter of fact, funny story. I go to a local Globo gym because they have a sauna, hot tub, steam room, shower, all that. I walk in there and everyone's got their headphones on and all the dudes are like, what's up? Checking out the girls. And it's just like, I'm like, this is weird. I used to do this like all the time. It's so weird. So now it's like, I can't even imagine not doing it,
Yeah. Do you attest your injuries or do you, I hate the word blame, but do you blame your injuries on your own self? Like the injuries that you've gotten throughout CrossFit, like you knew you pushed too hard, you didn't warm up correctly, you hit something you weren't supposed to, or did you ever experience like a really shitty coach that kind of like pushed you into that?
He said he'd be here. I love it. No, that's a great question because you do hear a lot. Man, we've heard a lot lately from the Ryan, I don't want to even name names, but the Ryan Fishers and who else has been doing what's his
No,
name? Matt Chan.
name names. We're here for it.
Sure. Matt Chan was talking about that it's not like fully, like it's not a complete program and this, that, and the next thing. I'll attribute every single injury in CrossFit to my own self, especially when you come in and you're like, I was ass at it at first. And that was coming from like I worked out. Like I would get outside the gym too and go run hills and got a little creative and stuff like that. So I'm like, I should be pretty good at it. Just got my ass handed to me over and over. I mean, I'm barely overhead squatting 75 pounds thinking, this movement's so stupid. It's like, no, dude, it's you you just can't do it, so I got obsessed. I got decently good at it. So I started chasing that dream of I can be like Rich Froning, and I can be like all these dudes and make it to that level, and just training 2-3 times a day. And all of a sudden, hey man, my shoulder's been nagging me. Not like I tore anything, but just like it's nagging me. I should probably like take a couple of days off. Nope. It was like, we're going to train right through it. We're going to keep going right through it. And then it becomes a problem. Then it becomes, well, now you're forced to take X amount of time off. So it was never like, I've had funny moments where, you jump on a box and you trip and now you're laying on your ass.
All over, yeah.
Right. But like, I've never had like where I'm working out and like CrossFit injured me. It was just overdoing it. Just like if I overdid anything else, it's going to hurt you. Just how it goes.
Yep.
All right.
Do you hear that clicking?
Yeah, I do. I don't. I'm trying to. No,
I don't think so. No, I don't hear it.
Okay.
Nope, there it is.
There it is. It's not coming from anything. We're good.
Okay.
Olivia, you are 100% correct. All of my CrossFit injuries were all my fault. Too competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I know that different people are starting to talk about
gays. We're going to get into that. Well, we're going to get into that. Listen, we're edging right now. We're edging. Give us a second. We're getting
there.
Chris Beesterfield. Whoa, is this my mixed brother? Yes.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, speaking of Jake being in here or whatever, like people are starting to have that conversation of, are CrossFit coaches like qualified enough? Do they need more training? Is the level 1 enough to be able to just go and start teaching? But also, like a lot of us, and I learned this way, I can read a book all day. I'm not going to understand it the same way that I'm going to understand it if I'm physically observing or teaching or guiding and that kind of thing. So do you feel like, as an athlete, do you feel like CrossFit coaches need more than just a level 1 to be able to start? Do you understand the principle of a level 1 kind of gets you in the door, and then you have to have, I don't know, do you have a year worth of like, what do you call it? Like shadowing before you're even able to go get a level 2? Is it 2 years? Like, from an athlete's perspective, and you've been in it for a long time, like, what do you feel like would be like a good metrics when it comes to creating really good CrossFit coaches?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to dive in head first, but you also have to realize that the level 1 is your foot in the door. I mean, how many people, even in the chat, or anyone who has their level 1 will remember back to when you got it. I had people in my class that are like, yeah, this is the first time I've really like heard of this CrossFit thing. I'm like, wow. So could you imagine that person going through an L1 and then immediately going to their gym and coaching? That's probably not going to lend itself well to a good outcome for the members. So how I look at it is, you need to, like, you come in, you do your L1, you get the L1, you go to a gym, and you need to find the most knowledgeable coach at your gym, and you need to attach yourself to their hip and learn, all right, this is how the athlete, this is how I gather everyone's attention. This is how I keep their attention during the athlete briefing. This is how I demo movements. This is how I transition into getting them warmed up. This is how I answer their questions. I identify, hey, that person's maybe a little older. Their squat, they're laboring through that squat. they need some extra attention, or that person has an injury, or you say that, hey, anyone have any injuries? But I believe that L1 does get you prepared. You learn so much, but is it enough to just immediately start coaching? It depends. Some people are getting their L1 another time, they're recerting. So yeah, they've been doing it. They can redo it. But I know for me, my own story, and everyone's thing is like unique. We found CrossFit in like 2011. We're doing it in a garage with doing pull-ups on like wooden trusses and, using old janky weights and all this stuff. But we're like diving into the methodology, reading the articles by Greg Glassman, and just getting obsessed with all things CrossFit. Maybe a year goes by, 9 months, a year goes by. I went and did my L1. By that time, I'm like so deep in the methodology. I'm shadowing coaches at the gym at the time. I go do the L1. I learn even more. They cement home even, things I already knew. I learned more. I went to my gym. I attached myself to the best coach, learned the do's and the don'ts, and then I was like on my way. So it's a foot in the door, but it's not, you can't just be like, yeah, I'm good. Let's go coach. Like there's so much more to it.
Right. These are great. I don't want to lose these.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trish. Hello, Trish. You aren't a real CrossFit coach until you have snapped at a member for bitching about the music.
Not going to disagree.
Jake, you're not a CrossFit coach until you've worn a baseball cap backwards and walked around with a PVC pipe in your hand.
That's funny.
You're not a CrossFit coach until you've been fired from the gym for fucking lots of members. And we'll leave this on Trish. You're not a real CrossFit coach until you've seen someone drop a barbell on a dog or a child. That
Jeez.
I won't get into that story, but I used to have members that would bring, they brought their fucking puppy to the gym. And I shit you not, I was literally at the bottom getting ready to perform a snatch as a group, all of us or whatever. And these dogs start barking. And I literally look at her and I'm like, she's like, what? I was like, go take your fucking dog outside. And I said it nicer than that, but pretty much like, get the fucking dog out. This is not a hangout. This is a gym. And we're about to move a lot of weight. So
most people like dogs. I love dogs. I love puppies. I got 3 kids. They're all little babies at one point, but tell you what, man, like you bring them to the gym. Like, luckily my gym has a kid area. We put them in the kid area. And, if someone does bring a dog, you put them in there. Not every gym has that. So like you bring them there, you got to understand everything they do is on you. Everywhere they go is on you. And that is my gym allows the kids and the dogs and everything. But I mean, it's like, no pun intended, tight leash, like,
yeah,
we're not going to be responsible for dropping a kettlebell on your kid or your dog.
And it's consideration of other people too. Like I think for me as a coach, my members, it's like, can you be considerate to the other members that are here that are paying a lot of money to be here and to be coached? So that for me was always like, ugh.
Yeah. My dog passed away a couple of years ago. I mean, I had a dog for the most of the time I did CrossFit, and I don't think I ever brought my dog to the gym just because of that. I'm like, it ain't worth it, man. I'm not trying to ruin someone else's day. People are paying $150+ to be here. Why do I need to bring my dog? You know what? We can hang out at my house afterwards if everyone wants to come over. We'll barbecue. You can say hi to my dog, but I don't think it really needs to be at the gym. So
common sense. We've lost it. There you go, babe. There's your gateway into the questions. Here we go.
Trish, Jeremy has a 1995 Gateway computer webcam.
I know, dude.
I tried. Terrible. We tried before we jumped on to see if we could get him less pixelated, but
This is a Lenovo. I'm sorry. I went cheap like 5 years ago. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I'll get that one. And here we are.
Where's this one? Jake did it. Was he at a cookout? Do you do that? I did this whole thing for the podcast CPT time or BPT time. Like I say, hey, you want to come on at 5:30, but we're really not going to start till 5:35. But I'm not going to tell you that. When I told you that, was that offensive to you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I thought that was smart. That was wise. That was very wise.
I met you because you were doing that segment, kind of a little bit on Sevon's podcast way back when you had the liberal girlfriend, and I kind of told you like, hang on, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Because I also had I was liberal and I had the liberal wife. I was like, hey, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna make it through it. And that's how I came to know Jeremyeatworld. And it's been a long time now. We've had some fun conversations in the DMs. And I wanted to bring you out, not bring you out, but like talk to you because I can't have these conversations. Like I've tried to have some of these conversations with some of my friends and no one's really comfortable doing that. But you were, so this is cool. I want to get into this with you.
For sure. Thank you, by the way, you guys. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate this more than anything. Hey, Bernie, what's up, dude? What's up? What?
They want to know what Jeremyeatworld
What is it?
means.
Oh, they want to know. Yeah.
I might be the only black dude on earth that likes the band Jeremyeatworld, but
Jeremyeatworld,
okay. I remember I was like sophomore, junior in high school, and I was in some class, whatever, and on the desk someone had etched in Jeremyeatworld. At that time, I had no clue. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, you try to make sense of Jeremyeatworld. What is that? And then not too long after that, I think that probably their most popular song, The Middle, came out, and I'm like, these dudes are pretty cool. And I mean, like 30 years later, 25 years later, I'm like, I was thinking of I was trying to be clever on Instagram, like we all try to be, and I said, Jeremyeatworld, let's just do it. Let's go with it. It's hit or miss. Some people like it. Not a lot of people.
That's awesome. Rosie View, Jeremy is the man. Yeah, dude, he is. He really
Rosie is awesome. Jess is great. Thank you, Jess.
Jess, thanks for checking on me earlier. We talked about the workout when we first started the show, but thank you for checking on me. I'm fine. I'm good now.
So what's up, dude? Did you survive the election? Did you lose all your rights, or all your rights gone? Can you not walk on the same side of the street as people anymore? Like,
Actually, immediately after this show, they're taking me to a black concentration camp. So this will be the last time I'll be talking as a free man. So. Oh man, what a trip!
That was the thing, right? They did that. They did it to all of us, didn't they? I mean, it was just like blacks, gays, immigrants, whatever. Like we were all gonna just be rounded up and taken away and thrown into I don't know what. And people actually put up little reels the next day, and it was like, my life is over. Now I'm gonna be a slave again. Now I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And they were crying in these reels, like crying.
Yeah.
And
we live in a time where, and it always blows my mind, where like we're like the most medically advanced, the most technologically advanced, like we're just crushing it. We're gonna maybe go to Mars, all this stuff, we're just doing awesome stuff. But like humanity, Americans, I'll just say as a whole, this might be the dumbest time collectively for just human beings. When you think of what things were when there was slavery and there was all this crap, we couldn't be further from the epic steps or events that would have to happen for that to happen again. We're not even close to it. We actually couldn't be any further away. So to actually buy into this fear and this whatever that, blacks and gays and what minorities are going to be, beaten or captured up or what, I'm like, really? Like, but I'm telling you, we collectively, whether it's the internet or specifically social media, it's fooled people into this false sense of reality. Like nothing, it's led people down. Like everyone's scared. Like everyone's terrified. And I'm like, what are you afraid of? Have you seen anybody getting rounded up out here? Like it's not happening. So chill out,
Oh, Judy. Hey, what's up, lady? My bus to the internment camp is picking me up in an hour.
God, I love Judy.
No, aren't you white adjacent? Don't you guys don't have this problem anymore. I felt like
Oh, that's
Asian,
right. That's right.
yeah, they're white adjacent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have I seen Emily Rolfe's posts?
No.
No, not yet.
It's the you guys will like it. It's the if it's the one I'm thinking Jake's talking about, she's like in the ocean with her bottom hanging out of the water and the waves are splashing against it. And if she doesn't do good in CrossFit over the next couple of years, if she has a career and stuff like that, I'm just saying.
She can be an influencer. Is that what you're saying?
She has a body for it, at least.
So here's what's up. This is the conversation I've been dying to get into, right? Because Governor Hochul, our governor of New York. Oh, where are you from? Trish asked that. Where does Jeremy live?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised.
Okay. All right. So we're in New York, and Governor Hochul just did this whole thing where she's the reparations board that we have, kind of the same way that California had it. We also have one. She's extended it now, and she's poured a whole bunch more money into it.
Okay.
So I think she gave it another 2-3 years, and she dumped however many millions of dollars into keeping it going and to find out what New York Black Americans are owed for slavery. Right. So we're still going. She's trying to get reelected, right? She's got 2 more years. She's got to keep her fan base. So that's what we're doing right now. When California came out with it, the first thing I thought about it is how divisive is this? Because how do you pick which Black Americans get it?
Right. So
is it the Black Americans that have never had slave owners in their history? Because we all found out Sonny, what's her last name? Hostin, whatever.
Yeah, from the
she found out she has slave owners in her past. And she was like,
she was white, right?
Well, she didn't.
Or
no, she was
no,
Spanish, and she had Spanish slave owners in her past. So does she get reparations?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right?
Who gets it?
It's that right there is enough to say like this is ridiculous. Like we are too as a society now. Like I was gonna try to find a picture of my parents around here somewhere, but my dad is purple, dark. He's from down south Georgia, and my mom's from here.
Did you guys ever say blurple? So
blurple,
black,
absolutely.
Purple?
He was so
blurple,
black, he's
right?
blurple.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. You're standing against a chalkboard and you wouldn't see him. Like, it's crazy. But so like you have him, he comes up, I think he moved here in like high school or something. My mom's this classic Midwest white woman, and like they marry, and now there's me. I got 2 brothers and a sister. My sister has kids with like an Asian, and then another black guy, and then I have kids with the white lady. I mean, how do we determine all of these different races now, all these different people? I don't even know where you begin. You know, you just start
our community in this general area, these like 3 townships that we have a very big Native American population, but it's very mixed with Black population, right? Like they've had a lot of kids together. Mm-hmm. So do only the Black people get it, or do the Native Americans get it? And if some Native Americans get it, do the Native Americans that don't have any Black in their lineage, do they not get it? Because I would assume they'd be pissed off.
Of course. Because I don't think they even thought of that factor. If let's say you figure it out, which can't be figured, but you figured it out. All right, we're going to give it to these people, right? Do you know how many people are going to be like, this is BS, dude? Where's mine? Like, I'm this much Black, and I had an ancestor, you know, and you just create this whole crazy shitstorm. Like, guys, let's be honest, as Black people get it, it would be great, right? If you just got this check, here's a bunch of money. But come on, man, life doesn't work that way, right?
No,
life
it doesn't
work that way. It's like, yeah, that'd be great. That would help pay some bills, but at the same time, for what? You know, because possibly, I had ancestors hundreds of years ago that were disadvantaged, that were slaves. Like, that sucks. It's awful. I think it's terrible. I think most people agree. but you don't need to give me
me,
money for it.
For me, what some of my great grandparents probably owned some of my other great grandparents. So then what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Like,
You get canceled out. Right.
I'm gonna need you to pay me for those grandparents, and
right.
then like
right. Exactly.
And then
there's no sense to it. It's all like you said. It's like they want to get reelected. There's a lot of feelings that go into it. There's angry black people out there, believe it or not. No, there's angry black people out there that instead of, and I could say that not just as a black guy, but I worked in the hood of Milwaukee for a long time. You read anything about Milwaukee, it's like mini Chicago. It's like, man, every corner is just something's popping off. And a lot of these folks are angry and they don't want, you say the word accountability and they melt like the Wicked Witch of the West. They hate it. You can't say accountability. Take accountability for your life, even if, and especially if you were disadvantaged. You know, you came up rough. That sucks. But dude, you live in America. Like you can turn that real quick, you know? They don't like that. They'd rather like, oh, the government, the reason I'm disadvantaged is because 300 years ago there were slaves. And maybe I had a family member who was one of them. And all these 300 years later, I'm still disadvantaged, even though I have every opportunity in the world to undo it. I think it's a whole joke.
Jake, I'm going to ask you a question in a second, but I really want to ask this. So like how many black people, like if me and Shelby Neal get reparations, how many black people in America do you think are going to be annoyed as fuck that us looking like that, even though our dads are absolutely black, that if we get reparations too, because what is it? Is it 1 drop? Is it 2 drops? Is it like what? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And how divisive is that? So now there's infighting in the black community. White people are automatically pissed because I wasn't a slave owner. Why do I have to pay this shit for this shit? And then now you got the infighting in the black community because, hey, you're not black enough to get reparations. So what the fuck?
Right. I was going to say that's the other side of the coin. Not only do you make black on black worse, you know, which just since the Floyd stuff has already gotten worse, now you have white people who many of them had nothing to do with it. They came here after that. Their families came here after that. They have to pay money to make up for stuff they had nothing to do with.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And that's the thing. What I have found a lot with more liberal policies is they come from a good place. Like they have these good intentions, but they have almost every time have no real tangible way of happening, of coming to fruition. To do this, you have to screw all these people over here. To accomplish that, you have to do something shady. And it's like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Sorry. And they just keep trying to spin the wheels. You hear people talk about like socialism. It works. We just never have done it right. So we should try it a different way.
Yeah.
There is no other way to try it. It just all leads to the same outcome. You just can't stop scratching that itch. You just need to let it go, you know? So.
Well, I think when you kind of take your liberal glasses off and you kind of get out of the,
hold on, let me just, does Don Lemon get anything? No, he doesn't get anything from the gay community and he doesn't get anything from the, no, he gets nothing.
He likes to ask.
He'll be the next one to wake up.
Yeah.
Well, he likes to ask questions that he already knows the answer to, and he's already pissed about the answers that he already knows they're going to say. I'm realizing that more and more.
Listening to his interview.
But kind of in that same sentiment is that when you do take the glasses off of what they, I mean, this is at least one of the big ahas for me, is that you do believe that the government has your back. And you do believe that the government is going to help and save you and all this type of stuff. You know, I came from a poor family and all that type of stuff. So like the government's going to help you. Food stamps are going to help you. This is going to help you. But then there's a line. You have to be poorer to get certain things or you don't qualify for anything, you know? So how are you going, or how are you supposed to make that difficult decision to do better when you literally have somebody that's like, hey, stay down here and we're going to make sure that you get paid. But also what I'm realizing too is that when you take the goggles off, you take the glasses off, you kind of see that the left really is trying to find more and more and more and more ways to actually keep people down and to keep us divided, because they take those trigger words or they take those trigger situations and they like, it's almost like they press on it with everything that they have to keep it focused on that. So when you do start to ask questions and you do start to kind of almost absorb everything that's being said, if you actually stop for a second, they all contradict each other. Every single one of them contradicts each other. We're going to do this because it's going to help these people, but history says this, so it doesn't actually help these people because the logic is this, but these people say this. So it doesn't actually seem like anybody is willing to have that conversation to try to, like you said, lean into accountability. I'm only responsible for myself. I can only help myself. Because another narrative that goes around is that we all come from Black people. So in this reparations conversation, how far back are we going to go in the lineages? Because if we go back that far, then technically we all are supposed to get something. So it is one of those things where it's like, but also my question too is, if we do, like you said, if we did figure this out, how could we possibly give everybody the exact amount that they want, and will it actually fix something? Or is it just going to start and create more problems and more division between everybody?
I love that. And I tell you what, two things. One, when you do try to have that conversation, what ends up happening with someone whose heels are just dug in, like more on the left side? It happens with people on the right too.
Oh yeah.
Name calling, labeling. The argument that you were having or trying to have, it just goes thrown to the side because this person comes to a realization usually that, oh yeah, it doesn't work. These things all contradict each other. And then their defense, instead of like, dang, you're right, and I should probably look more into this and whatever, is, well, they're a bigot. You're a bigot. You're a this. You're a racist. You're a that. You don't want Black people to be better because you don't want to give them money. Whoa, no, that's not even close to what I was saying. I was just trying to show you that your thinking is illogical, and you flipped it into this emotional argument. And then the other side is that like, I worked for the government I was in the military, and I worked for Social Security for 10 or 11 years. And I know firsthand, I could tell you case after case after case of giving specifically single moms SSI. Now, SSI exists to help, right? It is there to help. At the essence of it is supposed to help people. But when you're specifically like in inner cities and you're giving, this mom has a kid, dad's nowhere to be found, kid is rebellious, the kid is this or that, doesn't have like legit like medical diagnosis, but like, yeah, they got anger problems. They have it obviously because there's no dad there or whatever, well, they get money for that. Just apply. And if you get denied, appeal it. And you're going to get before a judge who's going to grant it. Then they have another kid. Then they have 4 or 5 kids. 4 of them are getting whatever it's like $800 a month plus free medical plus free this. And guess what? To the point, nothing at all is getting better. Nothing. Right. They're still living in poverty. They're still blaming other people for their problems. The kids are being raised with no dad. Matter of fact, it's encouraged to not have dad in the house because you can get more. Don't have dad come to the birth, because if he's there, then, he'll be on the birth certificate. And like, it's like this crazy runaround where these same people that say, oh, we're helping Black people, or we want to help Black people, you're not. You're actually doing the opposite, and you're holding them back. And it's that's why I don't work there anymore. I couldn't keep doing that. I couldn't keep seeing that. It was just, it got too much for me.
What is the incentive for women to stay with their husbands if all the benefits come from if you're single and you're by yourself, and there's no incentive it's all the incentive in the world to have all the kids, and it's you get more if you're not with your husband, if you don't have a husband, and what
Yep.
the government isn't giving you any incentives to actually try to work on a happy, healthy relationship
Right.
with a spouse with your kids.
Yeah. It's a breakdown of the nuclear family idea.
Yeah.
They don't, there's no real trying to, you know, really, if you want to really, you know, and Obama had the opportunity to do this, if you really want to help the Black community, a Black president can at least challenge these dads. Dude, man up, stay in the house, stop running away from your obligations. But instead you have, like, you know, blame everybody else and be victim and play that card. And it's only made things worse. And you have incidents like George Floyd, like I was saying before, and it's even worse. It's just they keep exacerbating the problem. And I think finally what you saw for this election was a lot of, and I have Black friends that were lifelong, how they were raised, how they were brought up to be lifelong Democrat. And they said, man, I'm not going to say I'm a Republican, but I can't vote this way anymore.
Yeah.
Like all my family is still living in the ghetto broke, you know, like they're on every benefit you can imagine. They're all still broke. I can't do it. So they voted for Trump. I think you saw overwhelmingly people are like, this game has to stop. We can't keep doing this.
Well, it was also that
was
yeah, that was it. And a lot of shit that I can't, like, no, sorry, Democrats, no. But the breakdown of the nuclear family, I want to get back to that a little bit, because we talked about how the incentive is for women to not have a man in the house. Like, they get more, they're able to not work, they're able to whatever. And then also all the rhetoric around saying that men ain't shit. Black men ain't shit. Men ain't shit. I don't need you. I don't need this. I can do this by myself. You're replaceable. Like, everybody's replaceable. Blah, blah, blah. It went through culture. It went through the government. Everybody. That was just the rhetoric that was out there. And so now men ain't shit. And all the women believe that. And the government's rewarding them for believing that all men ain't shit. So now the nuclear family is just like, what are you going to do with that? You know what I mean? Uh-oh.
Right. Yeah. It's are you there still?
Yeah. Your audio's good.
My dial-up internet.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. AOL, baby.
My AOL. Beep, boop, beep, boop. Yeah, it is a trip, because I'll be honest with you, you have like this feminist movement, but what I found is, like, most dudes, at least in my circle, people that I like call friends and my brothers and stuff, like, we, since we were kids, have absolutely 100% valued women, strong women, kind women, like women, you know. There's never been this like, she's lesser than, or she should definitely not get paid as much as me. She should stay home, you know, in the kitchen. Matter of fact, I've had tons of bosses or leaders or whatever that were women, and none of us are out. Most of us are out here. We respect women, but we also have to recognize at the same time, this whole, I blame Beyonce, all the single ladies, all that stuff, that whole movement. I joke a little bit, but like,
I do too.
That's kind of when you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of when it's kind of started. Like, you can be independent, you can be strong. And guess what? Some of the most independent, strong women I know are married, you know what I'm saying? Or have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or CrossFit coach, or whatever, you know, they own a business or whatever. There's nothing like, we're not out here trying to keep you guys down. We're not out here trying to, you know, like, take it back to the 50s. Nothing like that at all.
Yeah.
So the whole, like, I don't need a man thing, it's funny too, because now being a single guy, which is weird. And we could totally talk about that if you want. But being a single guy after being married and in a relationship for I don't know, over 15 years, there have been women besides the liberal girlfriend that we've gotten like romantically involved, you know what I'm saying? And then I come to find out or come to like realize or see or whatever how absolutely miserable these girls are. And I come to find out they're like the total, you know, feminist women, men suck, you know, all this stuff, women rights, this, all this stuff. And they're on like 6 different medications to steady them out throughout the day. And they're just outraged over everything. I'm like, man, like y'all ain't even like, it's fine, be strong, be all these things. I never said you can't be, and maybe you dated a guy who was a douche. I don't know. It is what it is, but
no.
Probably the biggest reason right now that I'm still single or have been single since the liberal girlfriend is like I meet these women and they're miserable, angry. They think cops are racist. They think men are bad. They want it's this weird thing that I'm like I told my buddy yesterday, I was like, I guess I'll just be single forever. I'm not going to be out here like begging some miserable woman to like me, you know, just because, you know, I'm supposed to have a woman in my life or whatever. It is what it is. If I don't find someone for a while, it's all good because I compromised values for a long time, compromised just like basic things for a long time, and it led me to get a divorce. So, you know.
Well, all right, fine, Jake. You keep doing this. Do you think they are miserable because of your taste in fornication music?
I'm laughing at Jake's comment. God, he's incredible.
he gets these one-liners, man, and he gets on a roll. Where are you meeting Olivia? What's up, girl? Damn, nice. American flag. I like it. Where are you meeting these women?
Yeah, because you were staring at the American flag.
I was
well
absolutely
played,
staring at the American flag.
Well played.
Fire.
Olivia's got it going on for sure. For sure.
Where do you meet?
Where do I meet these women?
Yeah.
There have been a few at the gym, which is kind of interesting because it's like, as a coach, I don't want to. What's the saying? You don't want to shit where you eat, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's Grant. Oh, Grant hates me.
Your wife is right there. Look, we
it's okay.
We talk a lot. We have a lot of conversations.
It's okay. I was looking too.
Yeah, you have to appreciate it. I mean, come on.
Listen,
like I
jealous.
Said,
one day my stomach will look like that.
I know, right?
Envy.
That's pretty much
It's
what
envy.
it is. It's more envy. Like, oh shit, I don't have those abs.
Couple more months of Sentinel, you'll be there.
Yeah, right.
Listen, I almost died.
No, so
As a coach,
I almost die every day. I don't do
not
Sentinel
supposed to
quite
be.
as much.
Well, let's get into this one. So Grant's here, so let's talk about. I want to talk about this for a second.
Did I break it?
What?
Huh?
Oh, he can't hear us, but we can hear him. Is that what's happening right now?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think there's just like a delay.
Just log out and log back in again.
What do I hit? How do I
just
get out?
I'll kick you out and then just hit the link again and come back in.
So go to leave studio.
Yeah.
At the bottom. And then just come back in. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There
you go. He's got it. Don't worry. Dial up. It's fine. We dial up's no big deal. Because I did want to have the conversation. You remember the lady? I forget her freaking name, but she was the bishop that did the she tried to like talk to Trump and beg for mercy and all this real weird.
Well, I want to ask him about his parents too, and like.
Oh yeah, go for it.
You know how they navigate.
Hey, listen, he's good. He's 44 minutes in, and he is just. All right, here we go. Let's go. There we go.
There you go.
Delay or no?
Better.
You hear? Good.
Better.
Now we're good. I think we're good.
Okay.
You know what I probably have to do is kick. My 3 kids are probably on some sort of
Internet?
that is dragging
Yeah, man,
Wi-Fi
that
down
would,
to the ground. So
Yeah.
if
That would
I
help.
have to, if I have to step out and unhook them from the internet, I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit and talk about, you growing up with your parents and, your dad's Black, your mom's white, and how as a child did you grow up seeing life? How did they navigate life the way that it was? And how and when did they start talking to you about race?
He's got a delay.
Oh, good questions. Is there a delay?
You're okay.
I'm gonna go kick my kids off.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that cool? I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be a Glenn Things podcast without this. It's all good.
It's all good.
Don't lose your question though.
No,
just in
I'll
case
ask him again. Yeah. I'll ask him again.
What's up?
Oh, here, Bernie had a couple of things.
Obama squandered a huge advantage. He had to make positive social and cultural change. He started out with pull up your pants. Oh yeah, but dropped the narrative after the election. Yeah, and then it was funny. Like I feel like the complete LGBTQ surge too happened on his last term. So it was almost like he dangled it in front of us during his first term. No, 2008. And then 2011, we got the federal right to marriage. And so then, we were all on the Obama train after that. Didn't matter what happened after that. We were there. But he didn't, as far as like for single moms, the nuclear family or whatever, he didn't do shit for that. Oh, Murphy Brown. That was a good show. Before Beyonce, there was Murphy Brown, where single motherhood was promoted. It became a political wedge issue when Dan Quayle, VP, then criticized the decline of family unity. All I remember about Murphy Brown was that she was always in suits, right? You always saw her. She was in like, what is that called? High-powered dress suits or whatever, and would.
Sure.
I can see that.
Oh, you gotta switch the.
There he is. Okay, he's back.
Yeah.
But Bernie, I saw that too. And then real quick, where was shoot. I lost it. All right. Is that a shock, G? A shock for what? I'll answer that power suits. That's what she wore all the time. And it just kind of became the G-Shock watch I had like crazy. Like that was my favorite thing as a kid. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you were.
Do you remember my question? Do you want me to ask you again?
Yeah. Is there a delay? Are we good?
No. Now we're good. Yeah. Or not.
All right, cool. Had to smack some kids around. So growing up, better. All right. So growing up, honestly, we didn't talk too much about race. Not that it was like necessarily like off limits, but like I think my parents just didn't want to give it too much power, like they didn't want us to be like too wrapped up in our race that it distracted us from just being a good person, and building character and earning stuff like that. So, but obviously growing up, as a mixed race kid, you're like super curious because like I said, my dad's from down south. So, we would go down there and meet all of his family, and it's just like, cornbread and collard greens and it's like, everyone's just loud and all that stuff, Southern hospitality. And then you go to, a family Christmas on my mom's side. And I mean, you've heard Heidi talk before. Imagine a whole room of Heidis going at it. Yeah. Hey, they're older. scary, like oh God, it's crazy, totally different dynamic going on. And it was kind of one of those things where like we got old enough. This is what really happened. That like was like, man, I should talk to my parents more about this. Is probably about 6th grade. I went to a middle school where it was the black kids, I guess you could say, were bussed in from like the ghetto. And the moment they found out that me and my brothers were half black, half white, we became like second class citizens. Now, most of the white kids were cool. They were whatever. It doesn't matter to us. You're a cool dude. We like hanging out with you. But for some reason, all the black kids thought it was the weirdest thing and to be made fun of because we talked black enough. We definitely didn't dress black enough. We were broke. We were poor. I was wearing my brother's and sometimes my sister's hand-me-downs. We didn't have a whole lot, so we weren't wearing the Tommy Hilfiger and the FUBU clothes and all that. We didn't have that stuff. We didn't talk the thing. We didn't walk the walk of the black person or whatever. And I remember like having conversations around, what is this all about? Like with my dad, like why? You know what I'm saying? Like why and he's like, that's a subculture. That's not what black people are. He's like, when you hear me talk, you hear your uncles talk, you hear what they do with their lives, how productive they are, they're working, they're contributing. You hear, successful Colin Powell and some of the, Martin Luther King. You hear them talk. They're not, yo, dude, what up, dude? Sagging their pants. There's none of that. So, what do you think is the right thing to do? You want to try to fit in with them, or do you want to just be a good person? And I just chose that path of, fine, I'll be the whitest black dude, that's fine. I don't care as long as I'm a good person. That's what I really care about.
Did you get the, for the last 4 to 8 years, we got the whole speech all the time about how like, you don't understand how you have to teach black children. You have to teach black children about the police. You have to teach black children about like white people don't understand that. You can't, they can't teach that, blah, blah. Did you have that growing up? Was there like a black conversation that you had to have with your parents?
I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah,
You did or you didn't?
Like growing up, my dad was like, he grew up down in like we talked about it because growing up down in Georgia in the 60s, like he did, obviously there was some racism and there were some things, but even he said, man, I can remember growing up and the cops didn't care what color you were, like, first of all, we self-policed each other. But second of all, cops didn't really care what color you were. We did the right thing. We listened to the cops when they said to do this or do that, and there wasn't anything crazy when he was growing up. So when we got the talk, it was, hey, respect the police officer, and here's the thing: you get pulled over, and the cop does something bad, whatever. You have a platform, you have a place to take that. You can take that up in the court. Most of the time, the body cam anyway. So anything you need to prove will be proven on that body cam. Your job isn't at that moment, if you're being mistreated by a cop in a traffic stop, your job isn't to like back talk them and refuse to do what they're telling you to do. Your job is just put your hands up, turn the car, put your hands up, chill out. It's all good, and if something goes sideways, take it up in the court of law, but just be a good dude and do what the cop says.
To me, it's been so crazy. I'm like, okay, we were talking about this before, right? Like these groups that we are like, we're supposed to be LGBTQ, right? We're supposed to be associated with that group. I'm gay, but I wouldn't say anymore that I'm LGBTQ. So like, and also too, I'm half black, you're half black. We're supposed to be BLM, but I'm not. I will say a million times over that like my dad's black, my mom's white, I'm a mixed kid, whatever. I'm not BLM. Am I a lesbian? Sure. I'm not LGBTQ. Like I'm not part just because this is what I am as an actual person.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that that's the group that I belong to. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense because I can even if our lives were supposed to just be like what group we belong to, then I feel like there's a lot of life that is missed because then you're like, well, black people don't do this, or gay people don't do this, or black people don't go there, gay people don't go there, and it's like, really, is that how it's supposed to be, or can I just be me? Can I just be who I am? And sure, I happen to be darker shade. You happen to be gay, but who cares? Like that doesn't have to. And I honestly feel like it really didn't like 20, 30 years ago. It wasn't that big of a deal like it is now. Like everybody has to be something, labeled something, and they like you're like I am, and I happen to be some things, but that doesn't mean I can't be this, I can't go there, I can't say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But we're leading with that. So it's not just a simple handshake of, hi, Jeremy, my name is Colleen. It's, hi, Jeremy, I'm Colleen, and I am blah, 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 whatever you need to fill in the blank. Or you start off by saying, I am a white woman, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way. And then for most of them, they probably don't actually tell you their name anyways, because it's the labels. It's the 6 different labels that they have to say before they even say anything.
That's such a good point. Or it's like, I have to tell you
Seriously.
I have to tell you what I am so that I fit into your box. So I'm going to be like, fit into your box, pause. So I would have to be for Jeremy, like, hey, dude, I'm half black. I fit into your box. Can we have a conversation? Hey, whoever, I'm a lesbian. I fit into your box. Can I have a conversation? It's so ridiculous. Like,
well, I thought one of the things that you said when you were talking about your parents and your upbringing or whatever, and a very powerful message I think you got from your dad is that his crew, the people that he grew up with, his community, his friends, his family, whatever, they policed each other. They checked each other. They called each other out on shit. It wasn't just like there's gonna be a leader and we're all gonna just follow the leader. It's like everybody had a voice. Everybody had.
Oh, did he lose us?
He was moving. Everybody checks on each other and doesn't let people just do stupid shit, so that everybody has the chance to grow and thrive. And I don't think that we have that. Or
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you see me? My dance moves.
We can definitely hear you.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
No, he froze.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Did you hear anything that I just said?
Probably not.
Probably not, right?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear better? You, yeah. Yeah,
I switched to Wi-Fi.
Okay, so give your picture's frozen, that's all, but you might have to jump out and come back in again. God, there's so many things I want to ask you, dude. Shit.
We're going to make this happen. I just connected to my mobile hotspot on my phone because my home internet is doo-doo apparently. So I just connected, and now there's no delay, at least not on my part.
Yeah, there's no delay. It's just can we see if we can get your picture back? Can you jump out and jump in again? Potato.
I will do that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Gus, you said something before and what's up, dude? Good
Gus,
to see you.
He can't call in because it's worse when he tries to call in. He's tried before.
Yeah. God, you had I might have to scroll back and see one of your comments because there was something in there that I wanted to get into. Shoot, I lost it.
Okay.
All right, there he is. Bring him back on.
Got him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, do I have him? No, I was scrolling to find Gus.
You guys are awesome for.
No, man. Believe me, this is the podcast, bro.
Did you hear anything that I said? Or no?
You were talking about. You said something my dad said.
Okay, so I'll say it just in a shorter. So I think one of the most powerful things that your father said to you was that his community, him, his peers, his siblings, his friends, his family, whatever, they all policed each other. So they all checked each other. They didn't just let somebody lead and everybody follow with like the blindfold on, and we're just going to let someone lead and make all of the choices. And I feel like for a while we didn't do that. I feel like we kind of just, and especially if you're only looking at like government from a face value thing and really believe that people are like the government is going to be on your side and take care of you and all of these policies and everybody deserves equal rights and we all should be good to each other and whatever, but it's the underlying shit that you start to question. And so, but I feel like now people are starting to check each other again. And I don't feel like that the response is as welcoming as maybe it was with your dad. Do you see that yourself? And have you ever had an experience where you kind of checked somebody and it didn't go well, or it did go well?
Nope.
He's thinking.
Oh, Garrett's laughing. No, no. It got a little choppy at the end. You said I had to check. Have I ever had to check somebody?
Yeah.
And what? And check somebody for what?
Like you have friends, you know, you have a community of boys that you said that you know, kind of hang out with, and you have those people or whatever. Like, have you guys ever gotten into a conversation where you guys kind of checked each other, or do you guys check each other?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, for sure. And that's what I think, like, we like as a whole, and I was talking about the Black community before, but like as Americans, we just have gotten too far away from accountability. And accountability comes with personal accountability, but it also comes with accountability through those that you surround yourself with. In other words, you want to surround yourself with people that are going to hold you accountable, that are going to be like, yo, dude, you're acting like a total idiot. Bring it in, bro. And then they still love you. They still got your back. It's all good. But like, they're going to tell you, yo, you're steering too far this way, man. You know, you shouldn't have done that. We don't do those kinds of things. Actually, one of the coolest tools, or what I have for that, is the dads group that I'm a part of. That the nationwide dads group. The Savant even wore the shirt one day, the We Bus shirt. That was started 4 years ago now by Wes Pyatt, who's out in California. He owns Coast Range CrossFit. But long story short, he had a rough life, you know, like his dad was a Hell's Angel. His dad OD'd when he was a kid. His mom was a paranoid schizophrenic and raised him, and just all sorts of crazy stuff with that. Then he joined the Air Force, had some rough deployments, firefighter, and now he owns a gym. And then he's out in California, so like the George Floyd stuff happens, and you have this divide in the gym. People are fighting, the pro first responders are mad at the anti-cop people, and he's caught in the middle of all this, and just a lot going on. So he starts his dad's group, and it started with just a handful of us just talking. And I mean, it's weird, you know, you hold your phone, and you're like, hi, I'm Jeremy. You know, try not to sound like an idiot. And from that, it's grown into literally this crazy, awesome accountability, lifting up other dads, helping other dads out in times of need. You know, I'm straight up talking about like dudes who have said, without you guys, like you guys saved my life. Like you guys have absolutely you've helped me find my purpose. You've and I'll be honest with you, you know, like we're not on there like crying all the time or, you know, just whining about our lives or anything like that. These are some of the strongest, like manliest people I've ever met. But I've been lucky enough to surround myself with them that when I know that I'm like going this way and I should be going this way, they're gonna be like, yo, come on back, dude. Like you're straying too far. And we're missing that a lot in male friendships for sure. But I just think in general, people just want to be told their always job. People want to be told that they're not doing anything wrong, that everything is cool, and do what you got to do, live your truth, and all this stuff. And it's like, yo, dude, like it doesn't work that way. If you want to grow, it doesn't work that
way. Jake Chapman sounds gay. You're such a dick, dude. Gus, it wasn't a comment that you made in our chat. It was a comment you made in another chat, and it was really good. And it actually, I have to go back and watch and find it because it was making me think of some stuff. But okay, before we go, we're an hour in, dude. This is so much fun. We have to do this again. But
yes, because she probably has 100 questions that she hasn't gotten to yet.
I have so many questions, but. Before when Kippen was here,
I'm sorry, my internet sucked.
No, it's okay, dude. It's all right. When Kippen was here, I wanted to bring this up because, like, you're a man of faith. There's a lot of people of faith that come into this chat on occasion, and so do you remember that Reverend or Bishop Marianne Edgar, or whatever her name is, that was trying to like lecture Trump and do all that stuff? Do you remember that video? Sevan played it this morning.
No. I do.
Oh, you do?
What a
okay.
Shame. Well,
I wanted to ask you from this standpoint, because I think we've beat kind of a dead horse that like what she said, it is just kind of like bleh, whatever. Like no one's listening to that anymore. We're fine. It's okay. But I'm curious about how does the church feel about having a gay bishop or a gay pastor or because we were married by a gay pastor. She was great. She was fine. I just wonder how that is because all these churches, you preach the Bible, right? And basically the Bible is telling you that, gayness is a sin. Mm-hmm. So I just wonder how congregations and the church feel about not only a gay pastor or a gay bishop, but like a female one.
That's a good one. Oh man. So I'll just say me personally. As a man of faith, I accept anybody except, like some of the stuff, I'm not accepting pedophiles and, right. Stuff like that. I ain't accepting people like that. But like, if you're gay, if you're addicted to porn, if you're whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. The church I was raised in, I could tell you for sure was, and to the knowledge I have right now, for the people that I know that still go there, they're still against anything homosexuality. It's terrible. It's a sin. It's this, that, and the next thing. Okay, all right, whatever. They'll try to back it by scriptures and all of that stuff. But how I look at it, if we're to believe as people of faith that all sin is equal or whatever, people want to say that homosexuality is a sin, right? That you're living in sin and whatever. Well, we're real slow, especially in America, to call people on something like gluttony. We have a population of massively obese people, and we really don't. You don't hear churches. Matter of fact, go to a church, you're going to see massively obese people. I don't see anybody any sermons about that. I don't see them talking about that kind of stuff. I see men who don't husbands who don't live up to what's talked about, I should say, in the Corinthians about husbands sacrifice yourself for your wives and sacrifice yourself for your kids. And they stop at women serve your husbands or wives serve your husbands. They stop there. So in other words, what I think is a lot of scriptures are used to a person's advantage in any given time. Someone told me a long time ago, and it's something I just like, this has stuck with me in my own spiritual faith walk, is that the gospel is like core and the point of the Bible. We're imperfect, whatever we're dealing with, we're imperfect. Jesus died for us for that. And I know it sounds like so like simple and well, it's so much more complicated, but that's the core, that's the essence. He showed us, he gave us like a manual kind of on how to treat other people. And that's not just some people, that's everybody, how to treat everybody, right? Everything else in the Bible is like context, or this, they use the word idolatry. And what that means is like people taking those sub scriptures or whatever and trying to use them so that they can be up here and they can make sure people are down here. And they can take other people who live different lifestyles or whatever, and they can say, well, I'm up here, I'm living to this Bible verse, and you're down here, not going back to the core of the gospel.
That's what Bernie and I were talking about this the other day. And I'm okay with, I'm not okay with people using the pulpit to further their own agenda. That's my thing. I want to hear the word.
Yeah.
I want to, get the message of the day, be, like energized and ready to go, have a little peace in my heart when I leave church and I want to walk out. I don't need anybody preaching to me about the gay agenda or the trans agenda or any other agenda. I want to hear the word, and then I want to move it along. Like, that's it. So for me, that was a rough one, because
and that's what it's supposed to be, because if you yeah, sorry about that. No, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, because if you believe like traditional like evangelical Christianity that there's a Father, Son, Holy Spirit, well then you kind of believe, I don't know, saying the Holy Spirit, it sounds goofy, right? The Holy Spirit, what the heck is that? But like, if you believe that exists, then you go to church, a good one, they preach the word the way it's supposed to be preached, and then when you leave, the Holy Spirit, however it works, they talk to you, they speak to you, you feel things, you're led to certain things, whatever. Maybe a viewpoint you had changes, maybe a habit changes, maybe whatever. But you shouldn't go to church and have a pastor or a priest or whatever say, you can't do this, you shouldn't be living this way, you're blah, 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 blah. Not necessarily in that. I mean, they can say like 10 Commandments, hey, thou shalt not kill, don't steal, don't, basic stuff like that. But if they start like getting into like your, like there's a line that you can't cross, because another thing about it is there's supposed to be community amongst people in the church. So like, whether that's you and the pastor or you and someone else and a group of people have like get together at their houses and do Bible study, stuff like that. And that's where you can talk and unpack some things. But if you're sitting there and a pastor is like in your face, I would say that you're probably going to the wrong church. You know what I'm saying? Like that should not be the case.
Yeah. I just want pastors to tell me, hey, don't cheat on your wife. Don't kill people. Don't steal from your neighbor. God will forgive me. How do I get forgiveness? That's what I want to hear. Like, I don't want to hear about some political view that some pastor has and have him interpret the Bible or her interpret the Bible with their political views. That's it. That's my thing.
Yeah, 100%. And like Sevy's talked about it before, everyone's telling themselves a story, and the way, and we want to make sure that the story we're telling ourselves is true, right? We do that. Sometimes people do that by like belittling someone else or trying to say their lifestyle is wrong to validate what we're doing. We want to make sure we're like, so we're just running around telling ourselves in this story instead of just like letting life is happening. There is truth. It's not its job to bend to us. It's our job to just bend to the truth and try to do our best to live in it without demanding other people live in our reality and live in our story that we've been telling ourselves. That's where you go. That's where people, I think, go really, even if you want to take it to like political, the political way, like people get so wrapped up in the story they're telling themselves about like a Donald Trump or about whoever, and they just run with it when the facts are like right there screaming in the face like, dude, yeah, he's imperfect himself or nothing like that, but like he wants the best for Americans. He wants the best actually for the world, you know,
all
like
people.
he wants the best for everybody, right? And no matter what you are, no matter what color, no matter what sex, no matter you know what sexual orientation, it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? Like, but people are like, well, the news said something, and now I'm going to stick to that story because it validates how I feel about that person instead of what the truth says about that person. It validates what the story they're telling themselves about that person.
Jeffrey Birchfield, Christian nationalism is a real thing. What do you mean? Like the anger, hate groups towards anybody other than Christians? Because if that's the case, like, yeah, okay, they're that radical, whatever, fine, blah, blah, blah. If you are kind of like, hey, I think homosexuality is a sin and that's what I believe, but like, I'm not out to like mess with you, I'm fine with that. I'm not trying to make anybody think if you believe that my lifestyle is a sin, that's fine. I have no problem with that. We can talk about it all day and try to come to an understanding or just have like the conversation. But like, I'm not mad at that. I don't need the church to validate me at all, but it'd be nice if I could go and get the word. Oh, I think churches should, I do
sure.
too.
100%.
But it's interesting to me.
Yeah,
and I said this to Garrett because I did. And I'm trying to start watching the news a little bit more, but not just one news station versus the other. Like, I'm trying to actually listen to what the left says, listen to what the right says, see stuff on social media, and really try to get different perspectives. But it's interesting to me because technically church and state are like don't mix, but yet the entire 2 days or 3 days of his inauguration, getting back into the White House, how many churches did he go see? How many scriptures did they talk about? How many pastors did they have saying all of this religious stuff? So is there actually a separation between politics and church? I don't think so.
Oh, that's that. I mean, it's because, you know, you get the argument, which I think is, you know, mostly correct, that America was founded on like that Judeo-Christianity type principles. While it wasn't necessarily like a Christian nation necessarily, it was still built on those principles. So you get someone like Trump, some other leaders that they try to point back to that sort of, again, I bring up on again, but like he talks about it too, like bring it back to those Christian values, I guess. Like, you don't have to be one necessarily, but like, let's bring things back to those Christian values, because if we talk about a time where our country was probably the strongest, the best, the most stable, probably was largely because we leaned on those values, not necessarily told everybody, hey, go be a Christian, but like, yo, there's some pretty good values and some pretty good principles and ways to live and treat each other that we should probably just universally kind of abide under, you know. And I think the reason we see so much chaos lately is we've gotten away from that. But then you do get the Christians that are just all in your face and not in a good way, not in the like, hey, I love you and I support you, but in like your lifestyle sucks and you can't do this and don't do that and can't say this. And it's like, yo, dude, like, we don't need that. That's what you do. That's fine. That's cool. Great. But don't be bringing that to somebody else. I'm not going to tell you guys what you can and can't say, watch, do. That doesn't work for you, because then you're not being you and you're not living who you are. You're trying to be what Jeremy said you should be. And that doesn't work for anybody.
So I guess now it should be hearing, or what I'm hearing you say is that the idea of coming back to Christian values is not the same thing as coming back to the Christian church, because they're in some cases, they're not the same thing, because you do have, and this is how I've experienced a lot of religion, is in a very negative way. It is the you're going to hell. It is the it's an abomination. It is the if you don't follow it exactly how it's written or how I interpret it as I'm saying it to you, then I am less than you are because of this, that, and whatever. So when you say going back to the Christian, or when we hear going back to the Christian values, it is the values of humanity, being kind to each other, finding your community, having your roots or your grounding of whatever you need, like those type of things. Be kind to your neighbor, don't cheat, don't kill, don't hurt people. And then you hear those same people that say all of these things, but then turn around and do the same thing. And so that's why for me, it's always very difficult to kind of really be able to listen to preaching and whatever from the strict, like it has to be this, or you are not important, or you're not valued. So would you say that that's kind of what do you think that you're seeing that now?
Yeah.
With the shift, is that people are looking for Christian values, not necessarily the Christian church?
Yes, very well said. All that, very well said. Yes, and to that's what I'm aiming at, because I'll tell you what, I grew up in a mega church, and you had the do's, the don'ts. You can do this, you can't say that, all that stuff, right? This is how you conduct yourself. And I grew up around kids that were doing drugs in church. I'm talking about kids that were doing drugs, kids that were sleeping with each other, all of it. The same stuff that I saw at my public school, I'm seeing at my church, which is the place that is saying you can't do this stuff, but like everyone's doing it. And I just kind of, Savan had James Townsend on like a year or so ago, and he was talking about his faith. And he and I think, are very alike, because sometimes it's hard to call myself a Christian when I see the behaviors of those that call themselves Christians and are in church every single week, and they're bashing their Bible in your face. And then you see how they treat people. You see how they treat themselves, how they treat their kids. They don't really value anything but their own time. They think they're holier than you. I don't have time for that. I'm not about that. I don't want to be out here telling anybody who's living a different lifestyle than I am that their lifestyle is wrong. Their beliefs are terrible. Something is whatever. I don't have time for that. And I don't think, and that's why, again, I said before, you have the Bible, and there's a lot of contextual benefit, but the core of it is the gospel. And when you read the gospel, you read about a man Jesus, who loves people. He loves us, meets you where you're at. The list goes on, but like there's a conflation with who he was and who people want him to be, I think, and they just use whatever they can to their advantage to validate their own lifestyle. And I think that's where society gets wrong. But Americans, we can believe in Christian values. We can try to align ourselves with that. But if we're trying to push our own interpretation of Christianity onto other people in negative ways, other than loving them unconditionally and just, serving other people and not stealing from them and stuff like that, that's what we're supposed to do. And I don't think anything else.
Augustus Link, I think there are things that you can have a political viewpoint based on religion, but I don't necessarily think the pastor should be expressing his political beliefs in the sense of a sermon. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that.
100%.
Bernie, separation of church and state is in Thomas Jefferson's private letter, not part of the Constitution, other than freedom, protection of religious liberty. That's what I always learned, that there was supposed to be a separation between church and state. I feel like that's what I grew up learning, and so I just see it that way.
Yeah.
But I get what Gus said too.
So did I. That's what I thought too.
Okay, we did religion. There's so many other, but let me just ask this very, very important question. Are we mad at Snoop Dogg? I'm going to need you to validate this. Snoop Dogg and Nelly for performing for President Trump. Are we mad?
Should they or did they?
They did.
They did.
They did. For one of the private parties or whatever for the inauguration.
I tell you what, I like that. Although I do think back to Snoop Dogg and his anti-Trump stuff, but I do think it's cool because it's like homeboy kind of, maybe he got it. I don't know. Maybe he's pulling a Zuckerberg and he's like, well, I'm just gonna, do whatever would advantage me. But like, maybe he's like, you know what, Trump ain't that bad. Matter of fact, he's pretty good. So I'll perform for him. That's pretty cool. As far as Nelly goes, I didn't even think Nelly was still at it, but good for him.
Nelly's not dead. He's not dead.
I don't know if I sent it to you. Let me see if I could. But like Nelly did a podcast interview with.
Both Snoop and Nelly told everybody that were pissed at him to mind their own business and like, hey, you know what I mean? It was an honor to perform at the president's inauguration ball. Shut the fuck up and worry about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fire. And DL Hughley slammed them. Like he crucified. He's like, basically was like, fuck you, Snoop. And it was bad.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to get into, Trish. Like, we don't let people change their minds anymore. And I get it. Like, we're hesitant about Zuckerberg. We're hesitant about everybody that's kind of coming back to center. And we're hesitant about that. But like, you have to give them time to kind of figure it out. Because like, I still have liberal tendencies in my head that I'm like, oh, wait, you should just read something about this first before you make a comment so you know what you're talking about. But we have to give people the grace to kind of be like, oh shit, I was stuck over here. I'm coming back over here, right?
No, we put people and we actually believe.
Man, I tell you what, Trish says some really cool stuff sometimes, and that is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Trish is great.
Yeah, Trish is great.
No, go ahead, Colin. You're good.
No, that's okay. We don't allow humans to be humanized. We just don't. We are supposed to be perfect all the time. We are supposed to, if we say something, we can only say that. We can never change our mind. We can never make mistakes. We are supposed to be perfect all the time. And we are supposed to get it right all the time. Mm. And the one thing that I'm trying to do with this, because I am later, I just started coming out of the liberal bubble and I just started coming out of the being triggered by everything. So naturally, I still have those feelings where I see things and I read things and I'm like, oh, that's really shitty. And then thankfully I have Garrett. She's like, well, let's read about it. Let's actually look up what's being said. And then I'm able to have my own thoughts. But we do not give space for faults. We don't give space for figuring it out. And I think that is why Garrett and I love these conversations so much, because we're literally just talking to try to figure things out together. You bring something to the table, we bring questions to the table, and we just are constantly having that conversation. And I just don't think that a lot of people are doing that. And I think we need more of that.
And that's America. That's America. It's that simple. I know it's not easy. Obviously not easy, but it's that simple. You have a way of thinking. I have a way of thinking. We maybe at the end of the conversation, we still are like, yeah, I still think what I think and you think what you think, but I just respect you. And nobody was hitting each other. No one was real mad at each other. Nobody was, defriending each other on Facebook or Instagram. It's just like, hey, we disagreed. It's all good. And to your point about the space, those Viktor Frankl in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he says like, that's where you find your power, is like creating space. There's a stimulus, space, and reaction to it, right? We have completely lost that middle part. We see something, we're stimulated, we respond immediately. And it's often wrong. It's often just like, oh, I'm angry about whatever the news told me. I'm angry about that person cutting me off in traffic. I'm angry about whatever. I'm not saying you can't respond or react. No one's going to be perfect. But if we just took that concept of creating space and being like, yo, I'm this here, and just like breathe through it and know that everything's going to be okay. You know, it's all good. Like, I think we'd be doing ourselves and our fellow Americans a big service, you know, chilling out a little bit.
Gus, I agree with this too. The pastor shouldn't tell me if he thinks that government should pardon people from January 6th. Yeah, I just don't think I agree.
Totally.
Yep. All right. Do we want
this one just from Trish, and this is a good point too. Everyone is looking for a gotcha moment. And I believe that too. Yeah. I absolutely believe that too, is that most people want to have a conversation 100%. Because they want to get you on something so that they can use that to prove whatever their story is or whatever their intention is or whatever. And so that is also a reason why. And I slowly am starting to talk about different subjects too, but there are obviously topics, race is one of them, that I don't say much about. Because I'm not at that point yet where I don't believe that it's not going to be a gotcha moment, you know, or it's going to be one of those things where it's like I ask a question or I simply say like, I don't know. I'm proud to be who I am. I'm proud of what I look like. I'm proud of who I am. Yeah. And someone takes that completely out of context. And now all of a sudden I'm being called everything, you know, but I absolutely agree with you, Trish. I think everybody's out for a gotcha moment. Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. Wait, before you pull up Bernie's, I want to ask him this. This is another one that I can only ask, well, on camera, I can only ask Jeremy. So, I hear this a lot lately, like Black women being like, yo, I don't want to hear about white women's problems. I don't care about white women's problems. That's white women talk. Like, this is Black women's problems. We need to be Black women's problems, blah, 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 blah. And it just goes on and on and on every single time there's a conversation. And I'm just like, isn't there just women problems? Like, shouldn't we just be having women problems? Why is this a thing? Right?
Man, that's such a good question. Oh my God. It's and what's crazy is you hear the same type of people talking about the inclusivity and everyone togetherness and all this stuff, but then like they self-inflict kind of segregation from everybody on themselves with those type of statements, talking about like the Black person or black girl problem, and you're like, yeah, I'm with you. I'll tell you what, I really never met a Black woman that had such different problems than a white girl. Maybe the only thing being hair, you know. Black girls' hair gets a little nappy. White girls' hair doesn't necessarily get nappy. You know, they still need to be taken care of, you know what I'm saying? But in different ways. Outside of that, it's the same problems. You have the same problems. Why not learn from how they handle their problems? And then when you're learning from them, they're probably learning from you. Everybody's leveling up, you know, but instead it's just like, I don't want to hear about these white girls' problems. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like that train of thought. I don't think you thought that one through too much. You know?
It just is. It's like, what are we doing differently, basically, other than what you said, which is hair, which was always a funny thing. Like, if you remember the sitcoms, do you remember the sitcoms back in the day where it was like a white woman would have a mixed baby and she wouldn't know how to do her hair, I guess. And then the Black woman would be like, oh my God, you don't know how you do your baby's hair? Here, I'm the only one that can do your baby's hair because I'm Black and my mother did my fucking hair all the time.
Uh-huh.
I mean, granted, it's not as textured, but like there were some weird hairstyles I had as a kid because
you had them bangs.
Yep,
you had those bangs right here.
Those curly, froey bangs that just stick straight out like the brim of your hat. I had that shit.
Let's go. That's so awesome.
My white mama didn't know. She tried. She was working it out. She was figuring it out. Like,
did she cut those bangs by herself?
Yes.
She did.
Yeah,
That's why you can't be cutting them bangs by yourself.
That's funny. That's funny.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
No, my mom cut our hair too. She cut it just, the first few times wasn't, I mean, I was too young probably to remember, but like probably wasn't the best experience ever. But like she figured it out. We were all three boys got our hair cut. We were good to go. It wasn't like, oh, let me call your dad's cousin and she can come over. And no, it was like she just did it. It was done.
We don't have time to not figure it out.
Pull the Trish question up, please.
Yeah.
I want an answer to this.
Yes.
Exactly. The answer, Jeremy, is black women look down on black men who only date white women. Yes. The answer is yes. Now, I will say this. I don't exclusively date white women. That's not like, I'm not like, man, let me go find me a white girl.
That was an important
so
question.
Happens that the experiences I've had, for sure, yeah. The experiences I've had in my life when it comes to like black women haven't been good. I'm not talking about like one or two. I'm like a lot of situations where romantic or not, otherwise it just is in the whole road of the only black people understand this stuff, or they have cousins that are just criminals and I'm too close to it. I'm like, I ain't trying to deal with that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. So I don't exclusively date white women or whatever. It just so happens that I've had better luck with them. But yes, they do. They definitely have this like, we're not really black. We don't get what blackness is really like. We're betraying our people. We are whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I think you're so hung up on that, and that's the reason you're single, or you keep dating these joker black dudes that are in and out of jail and don't want anything to do with their kids. Like, I don't know. I'm just putting that out there.
Slater, what's up, dude? Oh God, mixed kids unite! Let's go. It took me this podcast to find this many mixed kids. Like, I love this shit right now. My wife gets looks from black women whenever we're out and about, and I'm only half. I don't notice it, but she does. Yeah, she's gonna notice it for sure, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's sad too. Uncle Ruckus. What did Yana ask? Does Jeremy want to go on a date with my friend Heidi? She is single that likes to be shown. Oh, that's a funny one.
All right, let's Jesus.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think she likes me, so I don't
know. Qualify mixed kids. I mean, mixed with anything, I would say. Like, it just, if you don't, that's always what I was told. Mixed kids, you don't have the same race parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if is Judy's husband white? Because if Judy's husband's white, then she's got mixed race babies. I would definitely say that. Heidi is mean to everyone. Oh no, Jan, mean. That's not nice. That's not nice, Jan. Augustus. So I'm mixed. What's your mom? What's your dad? Let's figure it out right now.
At the bottom. Dutch and
Czechoslovakian. Yeah. I mean, sure. But is that like race or nationalities? I don't know if that's considered race or nationality. Is Czechoslovakian a race? Like, I don't know. Is that what that means? Or is it just your nationalities? I'm Black Irish. Does that count? What is that? Are you Black and Irish? Or do you have I don't know. I'm paper white mixed with off white. That's good.
Same.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's my wife too. That's amazing.
That's a good one.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. This was awesome. Jeremy, we definitely have to do this again. This was so amazing because I literally have so many more things I wanted to. I'll bring it up on the next time that we get together. But that was fucking fun.
Yeah,
we gotta do this again. You have to get an upgrade on your internet, bro. Like, do I have to? We have to talk about this.
I'm so sorry. I feel like a complete loser right now. My freaking computer, internet, all this stuff. But thank you for having me. I promise you, next time maybe I'll even upgrade my laptop so I don't look like it's 1995 over here.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, now we're talking about it.
He's ready.
He's
ready for the next
in it
show.
to win it. No after shows, Chris. No Diddy parties. We're probably gonna jump on again at the end of the week by ourselves and just hang out and chit chat with the chat. If you guys want to just come on and we'll fuck around for an hour and a half or something. But
no after parties.
No after parties. We're gonna go.
I gotta get my kid.
Yeah, we gotta
shower.
We had a good time.
Dinner and bed in about an hour. So wish me luck.
Kenneth, just go to a strip club, high speed internet. There you go. I like it. That's fire. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us as always. We appreciate you. We love you.
Bye,
Jeremy, don't leave the chat. Hold on. Hang on.
Yeah. See ya.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Deuces.